All right, hello. This is gonna be my review, my thoughts on Jaws. So I don't know what I could possibly add or say to Jaws that hasn't already been said, and there's probably tons of reviews, tons of people making videos on fun facts, everything that you need to know. Steven Spielberg, Jaws, behind the scenes. So that's not what this video is going to be about. It's going to be more directed towards just my watching Jaws for the first time as an adult. So my experience with Jaws has actually been viewing it for the first time this year. So I actually got the privilege of going to the Hollywood Bowl um, in the, in summer, July 5th, and watching like the live orchestra, and that was really amazing. I was excited to watch the film with accompanied with obviously like the live orchestra, but as soon as we got there, we got seats. Well, she got seats that were like really high up, so the screen was super small, and it was hard to see kind of. But the music sounded amazing, so I think that Jaws, in watching it for my first time, the experience was amazing. In I guess in terms of like the music made me fall in love with just Jaws because of it, because of John Williams, because of what he created. So that was really awesome. But I didn't really get to immerse myself fully in like the Jaws, And I obviously saw it with like a full auditorium, whatever's, and everyone was like super expressive, like super like laughing and quoting and just having a really good time. So that added to like obviously my experience. Oops. My experience of Jaws, of like, wow, this is gonna be my first impression, and the first impression is amazing. There's people that were on the shuttle that we were on to get to the Hollywood Bowl, and they were expressing how they flew in, they were traveling from far. Some people drove from like San Diego. I heard someone saying that they flew in from like Colorado, so that's really cool. You know how big and important this night was for so many people. So that added to like the magic of like watching it and experiencing it with other people around. So that was really cool. But now, solely talking about the film, the things that I was able to catch, I wasn't fully sure if I was getting it as much as everyone else. So there's moments where people were like, oh, there would be a line, and there were like comedic lines. Obviously, there's lines that I was like, oh my gosh, that's funny, or that's hilarious, or I really like that character. But there's certain lines that people were like, whoa, and I was like, I don't get why it's such a huge line. Like, had I heard it for the first time, had we all heard it for the first time right now, would it have that impact? And I don't know. So that was like my first initial impression of like the movie, and I knew that the movie was gonna be coming out this weekend on IMAX. So I was also like taking note of like, you know what, I'm not gonna be fully immersed into the film, but that's okay because I'm gonna be able to catch it at AMC when it's released for its 50th year anniversary, and that's gonna be where I fully allow myself to just be engrossed by like, wow, this is cinema, this is the movie, and I left the live orchestra feeling like, wow, music amazing, 10 out of 10, can listen to this all the time. The movie though, I was like, I don't know, like, again, maybe it's because I was so far, maybe it's because there's certain things that I didn't get. So now fast forward, I just saw last night Jaws, its 50th year anniversary, and I want to say like watching it on the big screen, which is true what this says. The poster, you're gonna need a bigger screen. It's so true, and that definitely added to like my experience of like, wow, like this is amazing. I saw it with people that weren't really out of work yet, I guess. So it was not a full auditorium. So yeah, it wasn't as packed, but there's probably like what I want to say 20 to 30 people, and they're also very expressive. Again, like this movie just evokes that from people, like people have this like emotional attachment, this nostalgic feeling towards it, this like I saw it at such a young age, or my family, my dad, my mom introduced this movie to me, family time, summer, like it is truly the epitome of like what summer feels like, which is amazing. And that is something that I deeply love. I feel like I can't think of another movie right now off the top of my head that like just makes me feel like, damn, this is summer. Like the feeling of the beach, of the heat, of going out, vacation, being with people, the colors, all that good stuff. So that it does such a great and wonderful job and like making you feel that, making me feel that, because I don't need to tell you. You probably already saw it. But as a first time viewer, like this is what I was feeling. I was like, wow, that's cool. I love that feeling. But now being like, I guess having no emotional attachment or connection to the actual film, watching it as a newbie, as just a casual watcher, going into the movies, knowing that the hype around it, knowing that it's such a classic, and so many people love it and talk obviously very, very well of it. I was kind of like, I wonder if I'm gonna love it or feel the same way about it. And I want to say like, there's certain things that I really, really loved and appreciated, but there's certain things that I feel like because I don't have that at such a young age, and watching it now as an adult, it just doesn't have the same impact. But I can still appreciate it, and I think what I love most about Jaws is that it does that for so many people. And so I think there's certain films that maybe they're not that it's that big or and what's crazy is that it is like a blockbuster film. You know, it's fun fact is it's the first blockbuster film ever for Hollywood, and I didn't know this, but I guess like what blockbuster means is that on its release weekend, that means like the people were lining up all the way across the block, turning on the block. So it's like a blockbuster. Like, wow, it's doing so good. It's such a hot movie. People are gonna go out and watch it. So that's really cool to see. Like just driving, because we don't see that anymore, really. You know, I think we still see that for concerts, but not really for movies. Movies, everything's digital. You can reserve your seats. You know, and then you just walk in and that's it. Everything's secured, and there's a different feeling of like seeing people lining up, waiting, and like talking about it before thoughts. There may be anticipations of their thoughts, their theories, being on a date, adding that to on a date, you know. So yeah, there's a lot that I think that visual is also really cool, and that's part of Jaws too. Jaws was the first one to ever do that for a lot of people, so that's really cool. So yeah, like there's a lot of things that I can appreciate and love about Jaws, but for me, as just watching it objectively, I don't think that Jaws was a movie that's like spoke specifically to me. And I also feel like I hear a lot of people saying that people that are in the film industry, people that are pursuing film, Jaws is such a huge like movie for them. It's such a huge inspiration. It's such a huge motivation for them to keep going forward. And I hear that like, I mean, I did some research as well, and like all the things that the production had to go through to make Jaws even happen. You know, like there was so many things that happened. It was Steven Spielberg's second film, and that's also like a huge thing. So I think that that in itself is very inspiring and very like motivating for film people to continue to work on and do and pursue, you know, their dreams of like creating movies, and like that's so important and so big. But I don't think that you should have to look up research or like have to fight so hard to like fall in love with a movie. You know, I think there's so many things that come around it or revolve around the actual art, but the art should always be able to speak for itself. And that's maybe for another movie. I mean, another video. But yeah, like just going into the Jaws, watching it for the first time, truly watching it for the first time, and watching it at such a great ideal way, which is like IMAX in theaters, like not at home, not in 1080p, you know, like it was like IMAX theaters with people also added to it. But again, I think the things that I loved most about Jaws were the orca scenes where there were all three of them, all three of the characters were in the boat chasing, and the thrilling, um them trying to connect, bonding, their personalities like clashing in a way, but it being humorous and funny, light but intense. That was really cool. Also, like the night when like the sun had set, they were gonna wait it out, and like them like singing along and like getting drunk, and like just all that was like super cool to watch, and like that was to me like film, like that was amazing to watch. And then there's like the beginning, which was also like a great hook, you know, like already off the bat, you're just like, whoa, that's amazing. Like I'm in it, you know. But then it lost me a little bit towards like the middle of like decisions. I was like, dude, what the heck? And it was causing me to be a little bit more frustrated or laid back, more relaxed, even though it was thrilling and suspenseful at the same time, which doesn't make sense. I know it's like a contradiction, but that's how I felt. Like, yeah, I wanted to be a little bit more, and I know that that's the thing. I know that for its time, it was like super thrilling. It was super intense, super like, when is it gonna come? Also, okay, which brings me to the next point. I wish there's more Bruce. Like I wanted to see more of Bruce, and I feel like we saw his fin obviously, which was really good and great. But towards the end, like that's what I really wanted it to be. I guess like I wanted to. I love the anticipation, the suspense, the building. but I wanted us to be able to sit with that a little bit more because that was my favorite part. Like that was to me like the climax, and then it just kind of ended. So yeah, all in all, I feel like I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. I love all the fun facts that I now know, and the quotes that and the references.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
My experience would have been enhanced, especially like I can only imagine like the people that grew up on this movie, or that were shown that were shown this movie at such a young age, like now watching it this weekend on IMAX, like with their family hopefully, or their friends, and like just having that even like more visceral reaction of like, wow, this is amazing. So that's really cool, and I hope that, yeah, I feel like if you are a true like Jaws fan, you're gonna go for sure, like to go watch it, because you have to. Like, there's no better way to experience if it's like one of your favorite films in theaters on IMAX with the people that you love and care about. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts and my opinions. Again, not adding more to just Jaws because there's not much that I can say about Jaws in itself. I'm pretty sure all the movie buff people already know everything that there needs to be known about Jaws. If anything, I need to know more about it, and I would love to know more about it. So if you know more fun facts, more cool things, just like please let me know. Also, I would really want to know, I guess, more on the emotional connection that you have with this film. Yeah, because yeah, I don't. I like I said, I don't have that really. So, I mean, now I do. Like again, like my experience has been great, and I now have that, and I'm able to look back and be like, oh yeah, the live orchestra, that was amazing. First time of that, and this and that, and then now in IMAX, and like, wow, that's so cool. But like, it leaves such a bigger and deeper impression and impact when you're at a younger age. So if you have that, like that'd be cool to know and like read up on. So that'd be cool. Anyways, that's it. I don't know what else to say.